Hey guys, Mrs. Coster here. Welcome to your first ever video lecture in biology. This video lecture is just a little bit about me, a little bit about my course, and things that will help you in the future. You're going to have to do this all year long. Watch these videos. Now, I wanted to start off with something a little fun before I have you, do it for a grade. But pay close attention because it might benefit you. So pause if you need to, rewatch if you need to. You can always do that anytime you watch a video lecture. So like I said, my name is Mrs. Coster. You are in biology, which is the study of life. Here is my daily schedule. So you can see I have certain periods that I teach with other teachers. So fourth or fifth period, you're going to have another teacher in the room with me. If you're in one of the other classes, then you get me all to yourself. I also have a biology ASE. My lunch period is third period, and my planning period is sixth period. So during those periods, I may or may not be in my classroom. I'm going to get to know all about you throughout the entire course of the year, so I think it's only fair that you learn a little bit about me. I am a graduate of the East Cobb schools. So when I was in third grade, I moved here to Georgia from Texas, and I went to Addison Elementary, and then I went to J.J. Daniel, and I graduated high school from, that's right, you're reading correctly, Sprayberry High School. Though I'm obviously here at Lassiter now, which is the rival to Sprayberry, but don't worry, I am a loyal Trojan these days. I got my undergraduate degrees in biology and psychology at the University of Georgia, so if you want to get on my good side, then you cheer for the dogs. I would highly recommend that even if you're not a dog fan, if they lose, you just don't say anything those days, okay? Just pretend like it didn't happen. Otherwise, your grade might drop a few points. I got my master's degree from Kennesaw State University, and I got my Master's of Arts in Teaching Biology grades 6 through 12. Obviously, a big part of who I am is my family. I am married, and I have 2 children and 1 dog. I was married back in 2007. My husband is in the military. He works full-time for the Georgia National Guard. He's a captain, and he is forever doing, crazy military things, jumping out of airplanes, jumping out of helicopters, that sort of thing. So if you're ever interested in talking military, let me know. I'll point you to him. My oldest son is Ethan. He was born in July of 2012, so he just turned 3 years old. He is crazy fun and kind of has an attitude these days, which, is sort of like teaching high school, so I get him. I understand him. He's my people. And then my younger son was born back in February of this year, so he is just about to be 6 months. And he is also a lot of fun right now. He's like a sponge learning something new every single day, and he's happy and he's chunky, and that's really all you can ask for when you're a baby. And then my first kid was my dog, Crosby. He is a miniature schnauzer. He's almost 10 years old, so he's, getting pretty old, but we still treat him like he's our little baby. Okay, so like I said, some of you are going to have another teacher in with me. One of those teachers is Coach Kalk, and he is one of the Lassiter basketball coaches. He is also a graduate of East Cobb schools, and he went through the Kell feeder system and graduated from Kell High School, and he got his bachelor's degree from the University of West Georgia. The other teacher that I teach with throughout the day is Miss Engler, or Coach Engler. She's been a teacher for 27 years. 16 of those have been here at Lassiter, which is amazing. She is our head cheerleading coach, and her favorite subject to teach is actually biology, so you guys are lucky. But most of her day is spent in her classroom, room 206. She teaches study skills and reading. And those of you who have her in your classroom with me, y'all are super lucky because she was actually Lassiter's 2013-2014 Teacher of the Year, and then the Cobb County High School Teacher of the Year that year, which is amazing. She has 2 grown children, Ray and Hannah, and she has 2 fur kids, her French bulldogs, Gracie and Duke. And her hobbies are hiking, reading, and working out. Oh, and you can see Coach Kalk, he has a dog too. Here in that picture. So cute. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into a little bit just about the My Biology course. So this is the same for all on-level biology teachers, this percentage outline. So these are the units we're going to cover here in the fall semester and how much each unit is worth. So you can see Nature of Science / Characteristics of Life is 5%, Biochemistry 13%, Cell Structures and Cell Processes 20%, Cell Cycle 12%, Genetic Molecules 15%, Genetics 20%, and the Final Exam 15%. So you know, there's going to be times during the semester where you start to get a little bit lazy. Please make sure that it is not during one of these units that is worth 20% of your grade. There's going to be times where you don't really study that hard for a test. Please make sure it is not the final exam that is worth 15% of your grade this semester. You know this from day one, so, you know, be smart in what you do this semester in biology. Okay, so some things about the syllabus. What makes up each unit? Each unit consists of these main items. You have a unit packet of daily work, which I'll talk more about in just a second. You have various labs and hands-on activities, and those range somewhere between 20 and 50 points. We're going to have projects all throughout the year. Some of those are going to be minor, worth 20 to 50 points, just like a lab or an activity. But some of those are going to be major projects that are worth the same as a unit test. We're going to have a quiz or quizzes in each unit. Usually totaling to about 50 points. And then we're going to have a unit test, every single unit, that is going to range anywhere from 100 to 200 points. Every test you take in biology this year, no matter who you have, is going to have a multiple choice section and a free response section. So for some of you, you know, that's going to be a challenge, and you need to know that ahead of time. Okay, so about those unit packets. Unit packets consist of work that we do in class together. So this is going to be due on the day of the test. It's going to have anywhere from between 5 and 10 items, and it's going to consist of these main things. You're going to have your video lecture notes organizers. Sometimes I'll have you do things out of the textbook. Graphic organizers, you're basically going to be presented with information 10 different ways in my class. And then practice work, online technology, you know, WebQuest type work, small hands-on activities, and then any in-class reviewing that we do. We will go over the answers to almost everything that you have in your unit packets. So you should not be working on your unit packet the night before the test for hours at a time. If that's the case, you are not using your class time effectively and you need to readjust. Because I'm going to give you the answers to most of those things. So you might have, you know, a question here or there that the night before the test you need to go and make sure you know, but it should all already be done, and it should just be a good study tool for you every time we have a test. Okay, this is high school. In on-level biology, no matter who you have, there are 3 of us, we do not accept late work ever for anything. So get used to that and make sure you do everything in your power to have work ready to turn in on the day that it is due. So how do you know the due date? Well, I'm going to tell you a million different times anytime we have a due date for anything in class. Every day you're going to see it on the board. I'm going to say it, you know, 5 times. And then it's also going to be posted on the class blog. I update my blog on Mondays with the whole week schedule, and then, you know, if something changes, I go in and I edit it, but it will always be there for you to see. And then make sure you are signed up for these text message reminders. So if you haven't done this, pause this video and do it now. Text this number right here, 81010, and put this as your message, @CosterLHS. If you've never signed up for Remind before, it will ask you your first and last name, and have your parents do this too, because let's be honest, I can send you text messages all day long, but until your parents tell you, hey, you need to make sure you're studying for your biology test, you're not going to do it, so make sure they sign up for them as well. So what if you're absent? There are several things I want you to do before you come to me. And by the way, don't ever come to me if you're absent and say, did we do anything in class yesterday? Because the answer is always yes. So make sure you do these things first. The first thing you need to do is you need to check the class blog. Like I said, it's going to have the whole week schedule. Anytime I have an electronic version of whatever we've worked on, I put it on the blog so you can print it straight from there. Check the file folders in class where I have all the extra copies. Make sure you grab what you need. And then if we took some sort of notes or something like that, see ya, buddy. Go get them from your friend. Make sure it's, you know, someone that you know takes good quality notes. And then after you've done all of those things, that's when you come see me and I'll get you whatever you need. Now, the policy is for each day that you have an excused absence, you are allowed that number of days plus 1. So let's say you're absent for 2 days. You're going to have the 2 days that you were absent to make it up. So you're going to have 2 days plus 1. So you will have 3 days after you come back to make up your work. So keep that in mind. That's, you know, that is Lassiter policy. So for all of your classes, that should be the same. Now, if you are absent on a review day, which is the day before a test, every unit the day before a test is a review day. If you're absent on that day, you will still be required to take the test on test day. So if the test is scheduled on a Thursday and you are absent on Wednesday, you're still going to be expected to take the test on Thursday. So don't come to me and say, I was absent yesterday, I don't have to take the test, right? Because the answer will be yes, you have to take the test today. Okay, if at any time you ever need extra help, your best bet is going to be before school, and you're going to have to make an appointment with me because sometimes I have meetings in the mornings, but I get to school every day about 7:45, sometimes even before then, so you can have that, 30 minutes, 7:45 to 8:15 to get extra help. You also have extra help time in ASE, which you'll learn more about, but is academic support and enrichment. Now, I have what's considered a closed ASE, which means you can't just pop in whenever you want. You can't decide, oh, we have a test today, I'm going to go over to Ms. Koster's ASE. You have to have a pass from me beforehand, and teachers know this. So you'll have to say, Ms. Koster, I want to come to your ASE tomorrow. I'll write you a pass. You show that pass to your ASE teacher, and then you come to me for extra help. But those are the two big ways that you can get extra help from me at any time. Just make sure you make an appointment first. Okay, big thing about my classroom is I utilize what's called the flipped classroom method. This is exactly what you're doing right now. We're doing the flipped classroom method. So the traditional classroom was your teacher stood at the board and, he or she lectured for an entire class period, and then you were sent on your merry little way with a bunch of homework to do. My class is the opposite of that. You do the easy stuff at home now. Watching a video and taking notes on it is easy, especially when I give you a notes organizer to fill out as you're watching the video. That's super simple. All the answers are right there for you. And then that means in class, we get to do all of that hard stuff together. So when I'm there to help you, we're doing the hands-on activities. We're doing all the labs and experiments. And you can ask the questions right there. How many times have you ever been in a math class where your teacher is working a problem on the board and you're like, oh yeah, I get this. This totally makes sense to me. And then you get home and have no idea where to start when it comes to doing your homework. The flipped classroom minimizes those struggles. Now, if your internet access at home is spotty or, questionable, then our Lassiter Media Center is awesome about giving extended hours. So Monday through Thursday, their hours are 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So over an hour before school starts and over an hour after school ends. And then on Friday, 7 a.m. again, but they shut down right at 3:30 when school ends. So there's really no excuse for, not having a video lecture done, your notes done, because you can always go to the Media Center if you can't do it at home. And I always give you multiple days to complete the assignment. I don't say you need to watch this tonight, it's due tomorrow. It's always at least 2 days. So what are the flipped classroom benefits? You can work at your own pace. Have you ever been sitting in a lecture where your teacher's going way too fast and you can't keep up? It's not an option anymore. You can rewatch when you need to. You can pause it. You can do whatever you need to do to make sure that you understand the material that's being covered. And then you have access to the information at home. If you're absent, you didn't miss a day of lecture. It's right there at your fingertips at home. And then the day before the test, I have plenty of students in the past that have just reviewed for the test by watching the video lectures, and they're like, everything that I needed to know was there, so hearing it one more time from you was awesome. And then that allows us to have more hands-on time in class. There really is never a day where I am standing up at the board lecturing from the beginning until the end. No, I may do 10 or 15 minutes here or there on some days, but it allows us to do more activities together in class. So there are our emails. If you have, Coach Kalk or Ms. Engler in the class with you, there's the online textbook, and all of this information you can find on the class blog. Make sure you become familiar with this website. Look around, explore a little bit, because we're going to use that the entire year. Okay, so last year at the end of the year, I gave my students a survey and I asked them all sorts of questions. And I took some of that data and I put it in this PowerPoint so that you can have an idea of what they felt led to their success. So my first question was, generally speaking, what were your tools for success in this course? And they had a whole bunch of things they could choose from, and they could choose more than one item. And then they had a space where they could write something in. So 68% of my students last year said that the flipped classroom and video lectures were their major tool for success. 62% said the Zondel test review, and we'll talk more about that later, but utilizing Zondel in my class. Reviewing unit packets, 44%, Remind 101, 31%, studying at home, reviewing warm-up notebooks, and checking the blog. I asked them, what advice would you give to incoming students taking biology with me? So that's you guys, and you can pause here and you can read through some of these. Some of them are pretty funny, but again, some of the same things. Watch the video lectures, make sure you do them. Use Zondel, aim for the A. You really can do it in this class. Cheer for the dogs. Be nice to Mrs. Koster. She will be one of your favorite teachers. So pause that if you want to read through all of those. And then I asked them what their thoughts were on the flipped classroom. 96% of them said that they found it helpful. I asked them how useful was the blog. 85% of them said it was very helpful. 94% of my students signed up for the Remind 101 text, and 91% of them strongly agreed that Remind 101 helped them to remember upcoming assignments. And then you can stop here, pause, and just read a little bit about what we will cover in biology this